Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel and Governor Gretchen Whitmer are driven by emotion on the Enbridge Line 5 tunnel issue. Critics said Wednesday that Chatfield, without any basis, drew on a stereotype about women that is used to undermine female political leaders. Chatfield, through a spokesperson, rejected the criticism. Like I said, we've got the audio. This is from April 1st. This is the Frank Beckman show from WJR AM 760 in Detroit.
Frank Beckman, what a hot air conservative.
And by the way, right at the we've only got a small clip of that portion of the show, but he starts out this segment by saying that he continues inviting Dana Nessel on the show, and she keeps telling him no. But he's all mad because she's saying that they're not inviting her on the show. Well, who do you believe?
Dana Nessel.
Exactly.
About 1/2 of a second.
Exactly. So let's talk about, here's the audio. Again, this is Lee Chatfield, the Michigan House Speaker, on the Frank Beckman show on Monday, April 1st.
The Great Lakes is not just a part of our economy up north, it's part of our way of life. I want to ensure that we protect them. But we also have to use sound science when we're trying to do that, Frank, and we can't be driven purely by emotion because we can't just simply make decisions without having a fallback plan. So my question is, to the governor and to the attorney general is, what's the plan? What's the plan to continue delivering these resources? Because over 60% of the propane that's utilized in my district comes from oil that's refined in Line 5. How are we going to get that?
And that was something that was brought up in the Free Press article. So what do you think about that? Chatfield made his remarks after Whitmer ordered state agencies to halt work on the proposed Line 5 tunnel through the Straits of Mackinac. This was after Attorney General Dana Nessel issued a legal opinion, 24 pages worth, that said that the 2018 legislation to allow for the tunnel violated Michigan's state constitution. Well, you just heard Lee there. Would you think that kind of sounded a little sexist, maybe?
Well, those women are just overly emotional.
Yeah.
They just drive on emotion. I'll be seeing Dana Nessel 2 weeks from now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with a matter that I guess we're going to break right here on this program. Not today, but pending that meeting. Of course, she was on our show. Mm-hmm. She was interviewed right in this room before her victorious AG election. But Dana is not going to let these guys go, whether it's Snyder and the Flint water issues. She's fantastic, and she has stepped up to the plate over and over again for us.
Fathers that aren't paying their child support.
Yeah.
They just got $25,000 from a guy who has, I believe, a $750,000 house in Las Vegas that wasn't paying his child support. So they went after him and got the money.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was just this week. Let's see. Aaron Cassis, an associate professor of political science at the University of Delaware who studies gender and politics, said, quote, characterizing female leaders' decisions as emotional is a gender-based criticism because it draws on old stereotypes about women and emotion, many of which stem from an earlier time in our nation's history when women didn't have full citizenship rights, end of quote. By saying that Whitmer's decision was based on emotion rather than the contents of the Attorney General's opinion, Chatfield, quote, implies that she's erratic or irrational. The idea that women are emotionally or temperamentally unsuited for politics is an old trope often used to undermine women's leadership and authority, end of quote.
Well, Trump took that to the next step when he attacked a journalist maintaining it was the wrong time of the month for her and used the term blood or something to discredit her. So that, these are old memes and these are old archetypes that they're pulling out of the bag. The conservatives are masters at it. And they think their dog whistles are silent when the truth is they blare right out. You can't miss them.
Gene Zinzdak, Associate Director of the Center for American Women and Politics at Rutgers University, said Chatfield's remarks amount to, quote, an unfair but predictable attack, adding, quote, it's a shame that it's coming up in this day and age, end of quote. Zinzdak added that by dismissing what they say as emotional rather than criticizing the substance of their arguments, Chatfield plays on the stereotype that women, quote, can't be in charge of things because they're too emotional, end of quote. Gideon DeSandro, spokesman for Chatfield, said the criticism of the Speaker's remarks is ridiculous, saying this, quote, "The Speaker is making the same argument he's made for years while in office. In looking for ways to protect the Great Lakes and still deliver necessary energy resources, it's important to be governed by science. He believes the decision by the AG and subsequent order by the governor put hundreds of thousands of Michigan citizens at risk, and he's going to continue fighting for the underground corridor because it's the best solution. To read into his statement any more than that is even more political than the original decision itself." End of quote. Well, these are the same Republicans that deny climate change science. They deny science on everything else, so why are they sticking up for science here? Once again, follow the money. It's simple, follow the money.
Folks, remember, they're not against socialism either, as long as it's for the corporations. They have a unique double-forked speech, and they do have the amazing ability to speak out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah. Chatfield said on the radio that the part of the Constitution Nessel cited in declaring the tunnel legislation unconstitutional is intended to make sure lawmakers and the public know what the legislature is voting on. In this case, both the lawmakers and the public were aware. Nessel has no idea what Chatfield was talking about when he referenced being driven by emotion, spokeswoman Kelly Rossman McKinney said Wednesday, adding, quote, "We followed the law, which is devoid of emotion," end of quote. Spokeswoman Tiffany Brown said Whitmer has no clue what Chatfield was referencing and has, quote, "nothing to add in response to his remarks," end of quote. By the way, Nessel commented on Twitter after Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey, Republican of Clark Lake, described her opinion as shameful. Here's what she posted to Twitter, quote, "Shirkey, not a lawyer, calls my AG opinion on the Mackinac Corridor legislation shameful and defends the Republicans' lightning-quick process to pass it, which experts criticized as poorly vetted. The one thing he doesn't say is that my opinion is wrong. Want laws to withstand constitutional scrutiny? Pass better laws. Ours believe in strict construction of the Constitution until they don't." End of quote.
Wow. Yeah, I think you could put Dana Nessel in the new Captain Marvel uniform.
I think that was a knockout punch right there.
Yeah, the superhero film that has already passed $1 billion. It could have had Dana Nessel.
Yeah.
Keep swinging, sweetheart.
Hey, we haven't talked about Trump yet, have we?
No, I've been saving my adrenaline for that.
Oh,
ready to go?
Boy, yeah. Well, I got this story first. This popped up Wednesday. This is by Erica Orden at CNN. Federal prosecutors have filed charges against a woman carrying Chinese passports who they accuse of illegally entering Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Florida in late March. Zhujing Zhang claimed a friend had asked her to fly from Shanghai to the club to try to speak to a member of Trump's family about economic relations between the U.S. and China, according to the complaint. Zhang initially gained access to the property on March 30th through an apparent miscommunication with members of Mar-a-Lago security. She told a U.S. Secret Service agent at the entrance that she was there to go to the pool and produce 2 passports, according to the federal complaint. Mar-a-Lago security subsequently admitted her, but staff quickly became suspicious when she didn't know where she wanted to go inside the property. She told a receptionist she was there to attend a non-existent United Nations Chinese American Association event that evening. After agents were alerted to Zhang's presence, she told them she was there to attend a United Nations friendship event between the United States and China and produced what she claimed was an invitation to the event. But agents were unable to read it as it was in Chinese. No such event was scheduled to take place on the property at that time. Trump was staying at Mar-a-Lago on that date, though he was not on the property at the time of Zhang's alleged visit. After she was detained, agents found she had multiple electronic devices, including, listen to this, Jack, 4 cell phones, a laptop computer, an external hard drive type device, and a thumb drive. A preliminary investigation found malicious malware on the thumb drive. Late Tuesday, U.S. Attorney's Office spokeswoman Shara Shaw said the 2 passports Zhang was carrying were from the People's Republic of China. The complainant indicated they were from the Republic of China, commonly known as Taiwan. Schall said in an email, quote, information presented to the court indicates that the defendant is from the People's Republic of China, not the Republic of China or Taiwan, and they were PRC passports, end of quote. When asked about the incident on Wednesday, Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesman Geng Zhuang said he had no information on Zhang's arrest. So this is what I thought of. You remember the story from a couple of weeks ago? We talked about
Kraft,
the woman, the
owner
of the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Well, this woman that used to own that massage parlor has another business where she gets people in front of Trump.
Yep.
I think there's a tie here. I don't think anybody else has put two and two together, but the math is pretty damn simple on this one, folks.
Like I said, you want to see an eclectic crowd, just sit in the lobby of Mar-a-Lago. You can drive it up to Mar-a-Lago. I mean, you can't walk in. But it's, I've been in West Palm Beach. I've seen it. And evidently, any bum can walk in. Now, they suppose they have extra security for Trump, but who knows? He could be there, like you said.
Yeah.
From a lineup from this madam. I can't think of her name. She went into a more lucrative business of lining up whores with Trump.
Yeah.
And whorish politicians around the world.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and I want to move on from this because I got to play the clips. Donald Trump spoke at the NRCC earlier this week. The folks at the Washington Post were kind enough to put together some of his more audacious clips. This runs about 2 minutes, 55 seconds, folks. Take a good listen to your president, not mine, because I didn't vote for him.
There were a lot of close elections they seemed to, every single one of them went Democrat. If it was close, they say the Democrat, well, there's something going on, fella. You got to be a little bit more paranoid than you are, okay? Look, all these beautiful people, these beautiful Republican congressmen and women. But we have to be a little bit careful because I don't like the way the votes are being tallied. I don't like it, and you don't like it either. You just don't want to say it because you're afraid of the press.
Hold on a second. I don't like it, and you don't either, but you're afraid to say it because you're afraid of the press. What ridiculous. I don't know. Let's continue.
It looks like the only non-sort of heavy socialist, he's being taken care of pretty well by the socialists they got to him. Our former vice president, I was going to call him, I don't know him well, I was going to say, welcome to the world, Joe. You having a good time, Joe? Republicans should not run away from health care. You can't do it. You're going to get clobbered.
Yeah, hang on. I want to pause that real quick. Yeah, Trump criticizing Biden is the pot calling the kettle black,
exactly.
Literally.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Grab him by the you-know-what. Unbelievable.
We have the border. We have, if you look at it, we have the immigration, but we have we have the crime, we have the police, we have the military, we have so much. They have health care right now. We have to take that away from it. We take that away, we will not even come close.
Darren, can you stop that a second?
Yeah.
Can we just isolate on just two small points this idiot has stressed? Number one, listeners, you're not paranoid enough. Mm-hmm. You need to get to be more paranoid.
Oh, lovely.
That's a statement that indicates that's really what they've been doing. In other words, this isn't the first time you need to get paranoid. That's a tendency that they love to sow in. Being objective.
You know, we've talked about it for years about how the Republicans gin up fear to get people out to the polls. Right there it is.
You heard it.
You heard it in Trump's own words.
Freudian slip. And then on top of that, you just heard him say, to back that up, that the Democrats have a health care plan. Did I not hear that, Darren? Am I hearing things? Did Chico fart that? That was said explicitly. They have health care. So we have to take it away from them.
Yeah.
In other words, the Democrats have something of value, and we, in good sociopathic thinking, we have to take it away. You be paranoid, and you give us the political capital to take away health care. Mm-hmm. That's the summary of his speech so far.
Yeah, let me continue.
Hillary wanted to put up wind. If you have a windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. Your house just went down 75% in value.